that says, serve willingly, as if you were serving the Lord and not men. If you legislate but then do not abide by the law according to the designs of the Lord, who considers the needs of all, you are walking on the edge of a dangerous abyss that you have dug with your erroneous creation, without reaping the benefits of your glorious mission in society. If you are administrate, but then do not bear in mind that the interest of the Lord on the pathway on which you work as a steward of life, you run the risk of burying your heart in the dark desires without reaping the fruits of the function you perform in the public ministry. If you judge your neighbor, but do not model yourself after the Lord, who knows all the details and circumstances of every lawsuit in court, then you may face the possibility of falling spectacularly into the same hole as those you have hastily judged, without benefiting from the gifts of wisdom that the justice maintains in your mind. Whether you work with colors or marble, with words or songs, but do not bring the love and the light of the Lord into your work as you should, then you are assuming the huge responsibility of those who produce the strong sort of images for the popular consumer mind. Thus, you miss out the glory that could enrich your sentiments. If you are supposed to obey others in order to be useful to the world, but you do not so with the spirit of understanding as taught by the Lord, who helped people and loved them, even to the point of personal sacrifice, then you are living amidst the ghosts of indiscipline and discouragement, without fulfilling the divine light of the talent that lies in your hands. Dear friend, the time you have on the earth is a sublime learning experience. Work is always the instructor of spiritual growth. Let us serve without attachments. In every place in the human valley, there are resources for improvement and action for those who want to evolve. Let us serve willingly, whatever we may be, as we were serving the Lord and not merely other people, and He will lead us to the higher realms of life. Beautiful reflection from Emmanuel that we are going to use today in our talk. So let's start with our prayer. Lord Jesus, we are here to reflect upon your teaching about serve and not wait to be served. Help us to understand deeply your teachings, your words. Help us to open our hearts and our minds to the reflections today, so we can bring and we can apply your teachings to our lives, helping ourselves and helping anyone that is part of our life. Let's help ourselves and others in this learning experience that we are all going through this existence. Thank you, Lord, for this moment with you. Thank you, Lord, for being with us and help us to fully understand your teachings. So be it. Great. Wow. So, finally, we looks like it's working now. today we're going to talk about the power of serving others willingly or with goodwill. So, we will understand, or hopefully we can understand, the power of serving. Let's start with the definition. What is service or service or serve? The dictionary will tell us that service is the action of helping or doing work for someone. This can be something that we do because we want, or something that we can do because we have to. So those that work in retail companies or in service companies as customer service or retails or any kind of service that we provide something to consumers, we have to. And there are some that are here today that work for a spirit center or for a church or for a shelter or for any type of volunteer work that want to be there and helping others. So in both situations, we can serve willingly or not. We can put some love in what we're doing or not. It's up to us. However, it's always good to act whatever we are with love, because this is the power of helping others. This will bring us so much happiness and so much joy and so much meaning to our lives that will make our lives better and the others as a consequence. We are going to talk about this. We're going to use this Living Spring book there, where Emmanuel will bring us so many reflections, so much thoughts about how to serve willingly as we are serving to God. And we are going to use the teaching from Jesus that he himself told us that he came to serve, not to be served. So let's reflect upon that. But before we start, I would like to show very quickly a short movie, a short video that reflects very, very well what we're going to talk here today. Could you please go to the next?
There is this icon on the bottom.
Yeah, should have no? Okay. What a pity. Let me see.
The second one. The second one.
No, this is.
Oh, it seemed like a.
Okay, could you search on the internet there? The name of the video is A História das Colheres de Cabo Grande. I don't know if you have ever seen this short video.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
colheres.
Yes.
Colheres. A História das Colheres de Cabo Grande. Perfect, thank you. What did you think about this video? What we can learn from it? It's very short, right? But it's very to the point.
How everything changes when they start.
as we help each other, they stop looking at themselves. They stop only try to feed themselves. Like they step away from the selfishness, and then they extend the help to others. So it's pretty much our lives here on the earth. When we are all here together like this group, and when we are only seeing our needs, only with the narrow mind, just to seeing our own problems and not trying to see the big screen, we are isolating ourselves, and we are becoming like those, like black and white and starving, because our spirit needs love. And when we share love, we multiply those love. Like when we act with goodness and with goodwill and with empathy, when we try to help others, we are not only serving others, but we are also setting up an example to be followed. When the lady showed or tried or served the other guy, she was immediately draw attention from the others around to help her to serve the other one, and also she was served. So there's so many things that we can learn when we serve others. And this is what Jesus came to help us to understand when he told us, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. So let's try to understand the context here. Because sometimes we know by heart some words that Jesus said, but we don't understand why he said that, to whom he said that, what is the context, what's going on there. And we can find this passage on Mark, on Matthew, and in Luke. But today we're going to use Matthew version because Matthew provides an example or information that moment the mother of John and James, they were brothers, right? João and Tiago. They were teenagers. They were the younger disciples from Jesus. And their mother came to Jesus, asked to have a private conversation with him, and said, Master, can I ask you a favor? And he said, yes. Can you please, when your realm, when the kingdom of God that you came to found is ready, could you please reserve a spot for my kids? But not only any spot. One in your right and the other one in your left. A mother request. Right?
Yeah, that sounds like a mother, all right.
We understand. we are moms, so we understand. We ask that to Jesus. Jesus, please look after my son, look after my daughter, and then that's what she asked to Jesus. But Jesus then looked at her and said, or look at them and said, can you drink from my cup? And then they said, we can. Like all teenagers, right?
Take it away.
We can. We can.
Let's do it.
And then Jesus said, yes, you are going to drink from my cup. But if you're going to be sitting on my left or on my right, this is not up to me. It's up to my Father. Why he said that? There is a law involved in this process. Can you have any guess? The law of cause and effect. Because it's up to them, their work. If they will do a good work, how they would behave themselves, if they will comply or not with the divine laws, they will be seated for sure, besides Jesus. It's not Jesus to decide what we are going to do with our lives. It's up to us. He provides us the teaching, what we can find in the gospel. We can have more explanation from the Spiritism doctrine or in any church that we go. However, it's up to us act accordingly with the Lord's teachings. And then, okay, this happened, but the other disciples that were around, they were very upset. How dare you come to ask Jesus to be in his right or in his left? Who do you think that you are? They were very upset with the teenagers. And then Jesus, that never missed one chance, one opportunity to help us to understand his teachings, called them, everyone. And then he said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you. So, translating this a little bit, Jesus wants to say that the authority was exercised by those who loved the power or who hold the power. Those that have the power to govern others. Kings, the armed generals, the wealthy people, the priests, the chiefs. But among them, this is not going to happen. Because between them, the law of equality would govern their acts. They would comply with the law of equality. They would have all the same power. They were not going to be the chief of everyone, anyone, between them. So that's, Jesus was trying there to teach them one great law, the law that he came, or the virtue that he came to exercise through all his journey with us. The virtue of humbleness. He was born in a very humble way, and he left this earth in a very humble way. So that's what the basement or the foundation of his teachings, the law of humility. And he said more. Whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. Right? Because when we try to just see our own lives, like the movie, the little video that we saw, when everybody was focused on their own needs, they're not seeing the others, they were getting angry to each other, they're breaking the spoon of the other one. So that is the point that we are not seeing, we are not creating this empathy, or you're not trying to help the others, helping ourselves. When we help others, we are helping ourselves, like the video showed very well. So Jesus was saying here, when you're trying, when you feel that the pride and the selfishness is getting hold on you, serve, come back, step back, and be the servant. And he explained that so well. He exemplified that so well in the Great Supper. Supper? Last Supper, sorry. And he was there washing the disciples' feet, showing that he was the teacher, but he was serving them. That's his mission with us. That's the real power, because he stayed with us only 33 years, and he shared the story, the humanity story between before and after him. How about the powerful people from his time? Caesars, Pilates, or the priests, all of them, they have wealthy, they have power, they have knowledge. That was so fragile. The power, Jesus was trying to show, he's always trying to show us, that the power from this world is totally different from the power of the Spirit. Because when we willingly trying to learn, trying to make efforts to practice the virtues, mainly the virtue of humility and the virtue of meekness that Jesus came to teach us, and then we put some love in all our actions and go to our neighbor and try to do the same for them, we are always trying to comply with the divine laws, and we are making this effort. We are feeling this power of being learning. And that's what we are doing here. That's what we are here for, to learn. So Jesus came to teach us the power of to serve. His gestures, his examples of love still remains. We had 2 years ago a great example of how fragile is the power from this world. We had COVID, and all of us were in the same situation, regardless if you have or not money. This little tiny virus could take from us all the wealthy, or all the wealthy in the world could not buy a cure before the vaccine. There is a statement from this bank owner from Spain. He said, "I have all the money in the world, but I cannot buy the air to breathe. I cannot breathe." So it doesn't matter how much money you have, if you don't have the free things that God gives us, if you don't have you cannot understand that if you don't build in yourself the power of the virtues, that the only thing that we can take with us, you have nothing. And that's what we are here to do. That's what many examples that we had in Spiritism or in the other religions came to teach us, came to help us to understand. Between all, Chico Xavier, that had his life devoted to serve. He wrote 450 books. He had these books sold worth more than 60 million copies were sold. The one that we are using today. And he didn't get £1 from each book that was sold. All the money went through the charity. He took with him for sure virtues that were very important for his progress, because our life here is just a light in the eternity. But all the virtues that we conquer here, that we practice, that we develop here, we go with us. And that's the reason that we are here. We are not saying that the material world is not important. It is, but it's not our priority. When we have these eyes of understanding, when we have this view to understand what is the reason that we are here for, we start changing our point of view, and we can, whatever we are, doing whatever we are, our material work, we can drop a little bit of love, and we can serve better. And we feel better with that. And that's the reason that Emmanuel says in the text that we just read at the beginning, that we can serve whatever we are willingly. Like he said, if you legislate, but you do not abide or you do not comply with the law according to the designs of Lord, who considers the needs? You can consider the needs of all, and consider the needs of all people. You are walking on the edge of a dangerous abyss that you have dug with your erroneous creation. So if you legislate, if you administrate, if you judge, if you, in whatever field of work that we do, we are invited to act according with the designs of the Lord. We can do that. We can treat our colleagues better. We can act with goodwill towards a customer that needs our service. When we do that, when we act like that, we will be doing a good work, a word willingly. Whatever we are, serving the Lord, and not serving only the others, but serving the Lord in the first place. So the question is, in our daily duties, are we making efforts to apply the knowledge that we have been learning through the others? We are Spiritists only here in the Spirit Center. We act well, we behave, we act with love and help and joy only when we are in the Spirit Center. And when we cross that door, we act not in a good way. So that's a very good question that we can ask to ourselves, to our conscience, to evaluate how have we been acting in our daily days. However, in order to serve well, Emmanuel will tell us that no one can assist other efficiently if he has not sought the edification of himself. How can we give love if we don't have the love for ourselves? If we don't treat ourselves well, if we don't treat ourselves with respect and patience, because sometimes we say, I don't have patience to work with customer service, but we don't have patience with our own mistakes, with our own errors. So we are invited to seek for this edification in ourselves, firstly, and then go to others. In this, in the book of Vinery of Light, or Vinha de Luz, of Emmanuel as well, text 110, there is a text called Essential Charity, or Caridade Essencial, that would tell us that whoever gives the bread to the hungry, or the water to the thirsty, or the medicine to the sick, they are always collaborating with the edification of the divine kingdom. However, no one will teach with security if they do not possess in their favor the acts of love for his neighbor. So that means we can give a bread, we can give water, we can help others, we can help somebody to cross the street. But if you don't do that with love, it's a beginning. Yes, it is a beginning. But it's important for us to remember, whatever I'm doing, drop a little bit of love. Trying to, like Jesus said, go a little bit longer. Try to step ahead a little bit and do with love and the knowledge of you are doing for Lord and not for our neighbors and not for the others. This is always a good way to start. When we are teaching with this feeling of, I'm doing for God, I'm doing this because I'm acting or I'm trying to collaborating with God. Question 132 that we studied on Wednesday. Was not this Wednesday, was before in our study in Spirit's book studies. We studied the purpose of incarnation. Kardec will ask, what is the purpose of incarnation of spirits? And the answer was great, because give us the reason, the purpose, why we are here. Why? What's the purpose? For what? Or how we say in Portuguese, para quê? Para que a gente precisa encarnar? And the answer is, God imposes incarnation for those the purpose of leading spirits to perfection. So we are imposed this need in order to develop, in order to reach perfection. So it's not what Emmanuel is saying. No one can assist the other efficiently. He's not sought the edification of himself. We are invited to learn. So, however, in order to reach this perfection, they must undergo all the vicissitudes of corporeal existence. Therein lies their expiation. And he finishes by saying, to this end, on each world they clothe themselves with an instrument that is in harmony with the essential matter of that world, so that may use the instrument to carry out the orders of God. In this way, they contribute to the general work and progress at the same time. So we contribute with God and with progress at the same time. How can we evolve? By learning. How can we learn? When we have a need to help others. In order to be a teacher, we need to go to school, we need to study, we need to learn, and then we go and teach. So the first one that has the good or the benefits of that act is ourselves. And this is the process of the natural evolution. That's what we are doing here. This is what Chico Xavier exemplified to us, what Madre Teresa has exemplified to us. Anyone has anything to say? I'm just trying to rush a little bit.
I did a pretty good comment on that. It's important for ourselves, because sometimes when we go for a while, we're not always going to be welcome. We're not always going to receive that back from someone. People aren't always going to show gratitude. They're always going to show love. And if we do that, it's like, back to someone, we're not doing for the right purpose, right?
That's right. That's right, yes. When we do that, when we put the energy of love, whatever we do, it's just that energy came back to us. Simple like that. You're going to receive that energy back. And that's what Emmanuel also will say in the text 82 from the Living Spring, that the ones who serve for the pleasure of being useful, so it's not only to serve, but pleasure to be useful, it's a pleasure to be useful to each other, are always progressing, and they find 1,000 resources within themselves for the solution to every problem. Why? Because we learn. Emmanuel, on this text 82, he uses the nature as an example. And it's amazing, the analogy that he puts together. He says that nature everywhere is a divine laboratory that shows the spirit of service as a normal process of evolution. For example, the peat or the whole serves the seed. The seeds enrich the man. So, if we have a farm, if you are a farmer, we use the seeds, we put on the hoe, and the grains will grow, and we're going to have profit from that harvest, that crop. The wind helps the flowers exchange the principles of life. The flowers will produce blessed fruit. So, the wind helps the flowers, and the flowers produce the fruit. The rivers entrust themselves to the sea, and the sea makes the fertilizing cloud. So everything in nature has a purpose. When we try to understand the harmony that exists in nature, that each element in nature will help other to evolve, to progress, we will understand that as we are here, we are helping the nature and help ourselves. We can learn from them, from the nature, and try to apply to ourselves. So we can also help others, because when we help others, we are helping ourselves. And as we know, this planet will be regenerate very soon, and we are part of this progress. Because when we make ourselves better, these impact the whole universe. Because we are all part of this universe. And if each act in a good way that we perform, we are helping ourselves, helping others. And something very, very important here that he says in this text, he says that the person who gets used to being invariably served in all situations does not know how to act alone in any situation. If we don't learn, if we don't practice, if we don't learn by serving others, because everything that we are going to do, like I'm going to take a course in university because I want to be XYZ professional. But deep inside, the main reason that you are taking that profession is, of course, is to get your material goals, but also to help others. With whatever we are always acting to help others, helping our company to make profit, and the company making profit can help every colleague, everybody that's part of that company, and help the society as a whole. So we are part of this entire world, and we are acting, if we act with the love and empathy, we can help others by helping ourselves. And if you don't want to help anybody, if you only be served, we are not going to have the chance to evolve. And that's what we are here for. And then he says, to summarize, the gospel learner, us, who does not improvise the joy of helping his fellows remains far from the true discipleship, because a faithful friend of the good news is informed that Jesus came to serve, and he opens himself for the benefit of all until the end of the battle. If there is more joy in giving than in receiving, there is more happiness in serving than in being served. We always say that, right? So we always say that giving is better than receiving. When we give things, we feel a great joy to be able to help others, to be able to see the happiness that we are providing to someone. So by serving, we can get that same happiness.
And if you look into science too, like the brain lights up
2-3 times more when you're the one giving, like the reward center, than when you're receiving. So like scientists were interested in seeing why would people willingly help or do charity and all that, and it's very rewarding from a brain's perspective too.
That's great. I didn't know that. Yeah, see, we things are like the beginning. It starts with us. It starts within us, and then this motivated us to keep doing, right? To keep making things better for ourselves and for others. So the virtues.
You feel good.
Yeah, it feels good. That's the reason that the virtues are very therapeutic, because resignify, transform our negative feelings, help us to be better, to feel better, right? And
So when I was reading this paragraph, I just remember this week I was listening a podcast that talks about like some stories involve like Chico Xavier, and there is one that his sister-in-law questioning about how do you always serve people and you get anything, nothing from them. So why it's so effective for you? Why you give yourself? Why you spend our life serving others? And he made like give her like a kind of challenge. Say, okay, start doing something like very simple. So she said, okay, so I'm gonna challenge you. I have 2 chayotes. I don't know if you guys listen to this story, but she said, I have 2 chayotes squash, like this shoo-shoo.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 chayotes, and I'm gonna give for the first person who asked me. So, and 5 minutes later, her left side neighbor asked for, oh, do you have some chayote? I want to do a soup. And she gave like right away, okay, you can have those. And like 10 minutes later, like the left side neighbor gave her back 4.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, I'm gonna keep that. And the neighbor in the front asked for some salad. Did so, oh, I need something for make a salad. Oh, I have this 4 chayotes. Make a delicious salad for you and your family. And after that, she said, okay, and like she waited for maybe like 2 hours. She said, see, I give my 4 chayotes and I didn't give anything back. And the other day, like a farmer that she always helped them, came to her place and he said, oh, I don't know if you remember me, but you always give me food when I was hungry, when I was working with you and your husband. So I have a bag for you. And he gave a bag with 64 chayotes. It's a lot, eh? And he said, wow, she was gagged, she could see in the practice how serving, how the charity, how give something and who's gonna benefit others, how it's really effective. And one thing about the video, we said, when someone help each other,
Mm-hmm.
I could see, and I can also can say about my life, the image, life is becoming colorful, sunny,
Yeah.
right? Bright, you can see your life with a purpose, with a good energy, and it's very nice. How effective, how how impactant it is,
Mm-hmm.
this action of serving each other. It's very nice.
The power of serving.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very nice. Thank you very much for bringing this up. I didn't know this story. It's good to know. And to finish our talk today, I would like to bring this text also from the manual. called the Royal Humanity. So this is very famous painting when Pilate is showing Jesus to the crowd. Okay? And we can learn so much from this act. And Emmanuel is so amazing that he uses Pilate's word to bring us some reflections, not only by Jesus or the apostles, even Pilate. And the text that Emmanuel is reflecting about this is called "Behold the Man," the famous word that Pilate said. And Emmanuel will say, in presenting Christ to the crowd, Pilate did not design him as an earthly conqueror. Was not presenting a powerful and wealthy world man. No banquet, no applause. Jesus was facing death. Betrayed, he had not rebelled. Arrested, he had practiced patience. Humiliated, he had not retorted. Crucified, he would soon return to join the same disciples and beneficiaries that had abandoned him, renewing their hopes. However, showing him to the people, Pilate did not say, "Behold the criminal, behold the victim." He just said, "Behold the man." Apparently defeated, the Master appeared in full spiritual grandeur, revealing the highest standard for human dignity. Therefore, as we recall this passage, let's remember that only by following the moral lines of Christ will we ever attain royal humanity. Meaning, he is the model, he is the guide. They're showing, here is a man, a royal man that you all can become one day if you make efforts. Here is the example of a man in all general sense of the world. Here is the perfect model to follow. And only following his teachings we will reach this royal humanity. So let's start today pursuing this goal, to become this man, to become this pure spirits that we are all predicted, or we all are determined to become. And we can do that by adding a drop of love, a little bit of love in each action that we're gonna do, in each thoughts that we're gonna have, in each decision that we're gonna make. We can do that. We can start today, just a little bit. And at the end, we are gonna get there. We are gonna be multiplying the resources. Each action that we do will come back to us in a good way. Like the law of cause and effect teach us. By doing things with love, it's only love that we are going to receive back. This is not like Andrea Luiz says, this is not a promise of a friendship. This is love. So hopefully, sorry for the rush. I had so much things to say, but unfortunately we spent so much time trying to fix up our problems with the technology, but I will leave with you some book references if you want to check. So 3 texts from this book, Living Spring, the Gospel of Matthew, and the Spirit's book from Allan Kardec, we all have. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to say. Sure.
I think that was really interesting in the video that started when the woman first tried to offer him the soup.
Mm-hmm.
He was afraid. He just looked like he couldn't believe that someone is going to help him. and I was observing and thinking, I think his attitude was the changing point, because he could get more angry and pick up his small stick and beat people closer to him,
Yeah.
but he was just so defeated that she sought to help. Was his aptitude and that made her want to help him. And when she started wanting to help him, the other people look at it and think, wow, I think he's also deserve help. We can eat later, we have our spoons, he can't.
Mhm.
And then you see that how every small point is what make it possible. If one of them wasn't there or didn't want to help, it wouldn't be possible to help and each other be helping in sequence. You know, then I think that I just wanted to comment that, you know, sometimes we don't believe that good things are coming up, people are really trying to help, we look like, what are they trying to do?
Yeah.
And we
What
need
they
to
want
be
in
more
return, right?
open and receptive, not only serve willingly, but also accept the help because it will come.
Thank you. That's great call. Great call. That's right. Sometimes it's important for us to be humble enough to accept help as well. Right? Good call. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much. Let's do our final prayer. So let's again think about Jesus, raise our thoughts and our hearts to say thank you, Master. Thank you for come and for teaching us about God's law, the divine laws, the law of love, helping us to understand the power of helping, of serving, how many benefits we have when we act with our heart, when we come to our neighbors and we embrace their needs and we help them. Thank you for this opportunity of learning a little bit more about your teachings. Be with us, Master Jesus, now and ever. Remind us the pathway that leads us towards God, delighting our hearts and our mind with the gospel, with your gospel, that which is the bread that will feed us, that will give us the strength to pursue more and more our perfection by loving our neighbors as ourselves. So be it.